Welcome back to episode 3 of our disability support SEO campaign. In this episode, we will be optimizing the homepage of the website. As you can see here, we developed this website about 3 months ago, and all the content here is written by the client, which is good. It's their messaging, it's their unique voice. But right now, it's currently not targeting any keyword or any group of keywords. So what we want to do is go through this entire page, and we want to sprinkle in your meta title, your meta description, your H1s, H2, H3, as well as our keywords throughout the content wherever it makes sense. So over here is our list of keywords that I've identified while doing keyword research, with Disability Support Brisbane being our primary keyword. Now, if we take a look at this website here, uniteddisability.com.au, you can see that they are targeting the exact same keyword as us. And I just wanted to show a few elements of this page that they are doing quite well in terms of SEO. And you can tell that it's obviously being done by an agency or an SEO professional. So here they have front and center, Disability Support Brisbane. And if you look at this tool here is called Detailed SEO Extension. And I recommend anyone optimizing a page download something similar to this, and you can get a quick overview of here, their title, their meta description, obviously their URL. You can see the word count. And then we go up to headings. You can see here H1, which is this right here. Then you can see their H2s, H3s, and so forth down the page. So when we quickly scroll down the page here, you can see that they have used similar keywords that what we have tracked here on the page. So providing comprehensive disability support services. So that's a keyword there. Disability care in Brisbane is another keyword. Extensive variety of disability services in Brisbane. Brisbane Disability Services. What is NDIS? And so forth. So this page has got far more content than us, and it's actually a really good example of what I'm going to try and achieve on neighbourly community care. So I'll be going through and adding similar elements throughout the entire page so that we achieve similar and have a chance of ranking highly in Google. This right here is a section that I've identified that we are missing on our own website. So that's a content gap. So I'll also be producing a section like this on the page. Just talking about what is the NDIS and am I eligible, and then from there we can internally link to NDIS page here. Another thing that I'm also going to be adding on the page is a frequently asked questions, and this is a good way we can answer any potential questions that potential clients may have and certain things around the NDIS and NDIA, etc. Okay, now back over to the client's website. The first thing we want to add is H1. So we'll grab a heading element here and we'll drop it above this slogan. Now we know our H1 is Disability Support Brisbane. Now this is quite big, so we want to format this, put that in the middle. Sorry, firstly make this a H1. We go over to style, and this is size 50. Now here, I would probably make it, because it's not very visually appealing. It doesn't actually add anything to the page. We just want to have it quite small and out the way. Now, the reason we do this above the slogan is because the way that Google reads a page is it starts at the top and makes its way down. So best practice is actually having your H1 the first thing on the page for Google to read. Now we'll just preview this just to make sure it looks all right on the front end. Yep, that's all good. Now we come back here and we'll look through this text here. Now I can see a mistake already inside this text. It says neighbourly community care is one of Queensland's fastest growing. They're actually only serving Brisbane at the moment. So for now, I'm going to change that to Brisbane so that it's more relevant to the keywords that we're targeting. Moving further down the page, we've got this H2 here. So now we want to change this to incorporate a keyword. I'll just copy this text I wrote here. And now it says, Neighbourly is a passionate disability support service that helps you to live well where you feel most comfortable. So this is basically the same as what it just was, but we added in the keyword disability support service. Publish that. Now just getting down further into this body text, we'll look for opportunities we can just naturally and organically drop keywords into this. So passionate NDIS disability service, we can throw in Brisbane here, coming down further, that's all good. Experienced and compassionate team of, we'll throw in disability here, disability support workers, publish that. Now moving down into this section here, I've identified another section of text I want to tweak. So I'll just copy that, paste it. And now it says, proudly locally owned and community driven, we provide disability services Brisbane Families Trust. So we've actually incorporated the keyword Disability Services Brisbane, and it's organically and naturally fit into that content. So we'll just publish that. Now the next section, we have another H2 with no SEO relevance or keywords incorporated into it. So we want to slightly tweak that again, copy that content. Our Brisbane Disability Services help you work toward your goals, big and small. So I'll just put a break there so it looks a bit better on the page. And there we go. Now these are our that the client offers. And eventually in another video, we will be adding a button and internally linking them to all of the new service pages that we have created. But that's for another video. Now this section here is actually a client story. So I want to be careful that I don't change this too much so I misrepresent what's being said. But nonetheless, there's an opportunity here to fit in another keyword. So I'll go ahead and paste that in here, right there. Cool. Now it says Cameron, 19, is autistic, and for years, I should say, he struggled to find the right Brisbane disability services that would help him break through the barriers that held him back from living fully. We've added another keyword in here. We'll publish that. Now, earlier when we were looking at the United Disability website, I mentioned that I wanted to emulate a section from this page and put it on our own. So that section is, what is NDIS and am I eligible for support? So what I want to do is go and create a section on this website that will fit that content. So I want to add a flex box and I want to add 2 containers. And here I want to drop in an image. I'm going to put it on the right side because we've got an image over here on the left so it doesn't look funny. Then over here, we'll add a header. And we'll add some text and as well as a button because we'll be linking this to the NDIS page. And now we'll go ahead and write the content for this section and then format it up. So now what I want to do is grab the actual content from this website, which is written quite well, and I'm happy to produce something similar. So I want to copy that. And what I'm going to do is take it over to my Claude AI here. And what I previously did earlier was I just fed it a bunch of information about the business and what I'm trying to do today. So I gave it the website. I told it a bit of information. I fed it all of the keywords after. I said we're going to be optimizing on the home page. This is the primary keyword here. And I also gave it this page here for reference as well. So now the agent knows exactly what we're talking about. What I want to do is throw their content in here. And I'm going to say something like, this is the content from the competitors page. I want you to rewrite this in the style and tone of the neighborly website. So this way it's going to reproduce this content with the same sort of messaging, adapt it to our brand so that it hopefully matches everything else on this page. Okay, now what it's produced here is quite good, but the content's just slightly long. So I want to say reduce this content by say 1/3 and make it Australian English, as I can see a few instances of Z's in the content. That didn't work. Shorten this content. Sometimes you have to go back and forth a few times to get what you want. That looks quite good. I'm going to take. So now we want to copy this content across to our website. The title here, we'll add that in. Now this title looks quite big, so I might just check what size font is being used here. So that's 36. So we'll have to go in and reduce that. 36. Yep, that looks better. Now we want the body content. Copy this. We'll paste that in there. Remove these spaces. Grab our image. We should already have one in our media library for NDIS. Perfect. I'll just quickly do alt tag for this. NDIS logo will do for now. Yep, that looks good. And now we want to just quickly format this button. We've actually got a button further up on the page. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate that since all the formatting is correct. I'll scroll down and if this wants to let me, just drop it there. Must have some. Yep, there we go. And we're going to change this to explore NDIS. Hopefully that comes up and yep, we'll link that to the NDIS page. publish that, and we come across to the preview and just see how that looks on the front end. Yep, I'm quite happy with that. But as you can see, there's actually no clouds in the background, which is a style that the client is choosing to go with. So I'm going to go back here and see if we can add that. We click on this here, style, background type, I believe, image, go with this one here. It's slightly better quality. And now that's added clouds in the background. We'll just make sure once again that looks all good. Awesome. I'm quite happy with how that looks. Fits in quite well. Back over to the competitor website. We will be grabbing these questions right here because we're making our own FAQ section. I quite like these two. So I'll tell back to our Claude, say rewrite these questions for me so they copying the competitor. Also write me 3 more other relevant questions for the business. Don't worry about spelling because it'll always fix it up. What's the difference? What areas of Brisbane do you provide services to? Support Brisbane wide. This is incorrect, so I'll just feed this in here. We support North Brisbane, including and Redcliffe. So we'll fix that up. How quickly can I start receiving support once my NDIS is approved? Do you offer? So these are some good questions that I'll now go and add to the page. Okay, now we have our complete FAQ section where we added another keyword into the H2, and now we have what is called an accordion. You can just find here if you're using Elementor right here. And what we have 5 FAQs that are most relevant to the business, just like, and I've formatted to have the clouds in the background as well. So we'll just check on the front end, make sure it's all looking good. NDIS section, customer story, and FAQs. That looks quite clean. Now, the last thing we want to do after we make any changes on the website is to make sure that it is responsive. So up here, we want to click on mobile, and we just want to quickly scroll through and make sure that nothing's out of whack. Now, since we actually made a change to the header, you can see there's a space here. So this is what you have to look out for. So we go up to here and we'll remove the padding on top. Oh, this might be tricky because it's behind the header. This H1 is actually stuck up here behind the header. So what we're gonna have to do is click on the hamburger icon, and we're gonna have to find, yep, that's the container there. And what we're gonna have to do is add some padding so that it comes down underneath this header. So if I just start with 1,100, that looks quite good. For some reason, the text is quite big again, so I want to reduce that, bring that down to about 18, and yep, cool, that fits quite well. Now just looking down the page, just making sure that all the padding is correct. Yep. See, this looks a little bit funny. You can see there's the one word on the one line, so we might just go in here and see if we reduce that to 26, maybe 42. Yep, 22 worked. Now we have 3 clean lines of text. Services, understanding. It's the NDIS section. That looks quite good to me. Story, the FAQs, the reviews. Now that's all formatted. Go ahead and publish that so we save our progress. And lastly, we'll move on to the metadata before we submit this page for indexing. Now the last thing we want to do is just make sure that metadata is correct. Since this hasn't been done, you can see that there's been no title added and that it is just pulling the text from here. So we haven't even added a meta description. So we're using rank math. So what you want to do is click on the plus here on the SEO edit snippet. And this is where you can add your meta description and your title. So I've got one written down here. Disability support Brisbane, again, our main keyword. Disability services, another keyword, and then our name. Now, rank math will tell you that the ideal title should be 60 characters. I tend to ignore this because Google's going to grab whatever it wants to grab anyway. So if Google grabs the first 60 characters in the SERPs or the search results, it's probably just going to grab from here anyway. And that way we have the 2 keywords in our title. Now I'll just grab the meta description. Actually, I don't have one. I'll show you how to do that. So now this page, this Claude page knows everything about what we've been doing because we've been working back and forth on it. What we want to do is write me a 140 to 150 character meta description that ends with a short call to action. Hopefully this produces us something. Trusted disability support Brisbane provider offering, I don't like how that works. Don't have to use the keyword like that. Just make natural. Now, the reason I don't want to use the keyword like that where it sounds funny is because the meta description actually doesn't help with your page rankings. This is more just something for someone to quickly read as they're scrolling down the page, and it's more just a CTR thing, which is a click-through rate. So you want to catch their eye, tell them what you're about, and get them to click through to your page and look at all your services and hopefully inquire. So, trusted NDIS provider offering personalised disability support across North Brisbane, Caboolture and Redcliffe. Get the care you deserve. Contact us today. I'm quite happy with that. So, we're going to publish that. Now, the last thing we want to do is just grab the URL and we want to submit it to Google Search Console for indexing. Now, this page is already indexed, but if we do this, it flags Google to come and crawl this content again. So hopefully Google will come and read all the content and see all the changes we've made, and then hopefully start ranking us, reading our keywords, reading our content, and then start ranking us in the search results. Stay tuned for episode 4, where I go through the process of citation and directory building, and I'll also be sharing my master list of directories that we use for every client that we work on.